Hello again, friends. This video will be a tutorial showing you how to download and import EPubs into my favorite EPub reader that I use for the meetings, MoonReader Pro. As you can see, there's nothing in MoonReader Pro right now. My shelf is completely empty. For the purpose of this video, I want to start from the beginning, showing you step by step on how to do this. Before we begin downloading any EPubs, there are a couple of options that we want to be sure to adjust. Check this box right here that says import new books in main folder automatically. That will save you some steps down the road. And then this one, render quality book cover, we want to set that to high. Many devices nowadays have very beautiful high definition displays, so we definitely want our magazines to look as good as possible. And then this one right here, book cover size on my shelf, book cover by default is set to 160. I set mine to 300 so that the magazines will come up larger so that you can see them very clear as well as read the titles. Okay, so we got the option set. So now we're going to download some EPubs. We're going to open our web browser right here to jw.org. From jw.org, we're going to select publications. From publications, we're going to go to magazines. We're going to download a few copies of the magazines. All right, this is the July 2014 issue of The Awake. We're going to select this box right here, then a little drop-down menu comes up. Select EPub, and then we're going to download it. Okay, we have that one. We're going to do the same thing for the June issue of The Awake. I'm going to download it as well. Then we're going to scroll up, and we're going to download the July 2014 public edition of the Watchtower in EPub. jw.org is a very beautiful, well thought out website. It is very user friendly. The learning curve is very small and anyone can pick it up very easily. Okay, so we download the July 2014 and June 2014 of the Watchtower. Let's do a couple of more. We're going to do the study articles. All of the steps are the same for each type of publication. We're going to do one more for a total of 6. All right, so we have all of our books downloaded. We can see they downloaded there. Now we're going to go back to MoonReader. We're going to open it back up. All right, we're going to select this button right here rather. We're going to select import books. Okay, so it's now scanning for the 6. And then it's going to ask us, do we want to import these 6? We select OK. Okay, so that's how they come up. That's the book cover size 300. You can make it larger or smaller. You can customize it for whatever your preference is. Okay, so our magazines are here right now. We have 6 magazines, which will eventually turn to 16, 26, 36, and then they can get kind of jumbled up. We can say, well, how will I access my June 2014 Awake in the midst of 50 or so odd publications? Well, we accomplish this by selecting categories. To make a category, we want to long press one of the magazines, The Awake. You see it was now outlined in blue and a 1 came up. We're going to select the other Awake. Now we have 2. Click this button right here, which says add to my favorites. We're going to create a category for our Awakes. We're going to name it Awakes. Then select that. So now we're in the all book view. If we want to just see the Awakes that we have on our device, we can now select Awakes. So we're going to set up a couple of more categories for our other publications as well. Again, we're going to long press the Watchtower. This is the other public edition of the Watchtower right here. So we're going to create a category. We're going to name it Watchtower Public. Okay, so now we see that we have a new category for Watchtower Public. All right, since we still have our study editions left, let's just go ahead and do that one as well. We're going to select our study edition. We're going to name this one Watchtower Study. So we have our study magazines right now. And so that's how it looks. As I mentioned earlier, you can change how it looks. You can change it so it looks like this. It has everything in a row. You can even have a carousel that looks really nice. I like the way it looks. But you can make it look however you want to set your own preferences. Now, we're going to show you how the magazines come up. For this portion of the video, I've switched my tablet to portrait orientation because that's how I personally use mine at the meetings. Now let's click on one of the magazines to see how it looks when they come up. I'm going to click the Watchtower there. It comes right on up, and we have a table of contents down at the bottom. Let's just click on one of the articles here. So we can see the magazine comes up very nice. One thing I like about Moon Reader Pro as opposed to some of the other EPUB readers for Android is that when we click on the scriptures, they come right on up. This is something that I would expect all future EPUB readers to include. And so we can see how it looks when we turn the pages. Well, right now it's just switching. Let's change that. Let's make a nice page turn page turn animation. Let's click the center of our magazine and this little settings button down here. We're going to go to visual options. You're going to scroll down to where it says page flip animation. Right now it's set to none, but we can change that. Now we see we have a variety of page turn effects that we can use. My personal preference that I use is the Apple Real Page Turning effect. Let's see how it looks. It's going to reorient right there. And so now, instead of it just switching over, the page is turned. We can see how nice that looks. But if you like any of the other ones, they have the Google page turning animation. You can select whatever one that you like. You can customize it to your preferences. Now, how do you underline articles? Of course, you want to study your lesson. So let's say we're studying paragraph 3 right here. To highlight portions of the text is very simple. Just long press on it. Then we can just drag it to where we want to. Then we select highlight. All right, now what we can do is we can select different colors that we may want to use. So let's change it to green. And so there it is. That portion is selected. Well, what I do personally when there's an A and a B part, just so that I can keep everything separate and keep my thoughts in my head, I make it a different color. So let's say if we wanted to select this portion of text. Let's highlight it and we're going to make it blue. And so there it is. The A and B portions are separate from each other. This was just a brief tutorial showing you how I set up my application for the meetings, how I import EPUBs to it. The options are literally endless that you can set this application up to benefit you, and you're able to use it in the meetings the way that you want it to be. So subscribe to this channel. I'll be putting out more videos in the near future. And if you like this video, just let me know by giving me a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.